prospector would come up here and dig 20 or 30 feet into the ground looking for gold. And if they didn't find any in one spot, they would just move along and dig another one. There's over 5,000 of those prospect holes up here in the 24 square mile mining district. There's over 1,000 active mines at one point and 3,000 miles of tunnel connecting all of those mines together. Back in the day, you were able to walk all the way from Cripple on down into Victor without coming out of underground. Alright folks, this is our last stop before going back to the station. Gold was first discovered here in Cripple Creek by a gentleman named Bob Womack back in 1890. Now when Bob had discovered gold, he got really excited, so he went on a 3-day drinking binge to celebrate. When he had sobered up from that binge, he realized that he had sold his claim for just $500 and a few cases of whiskey. Now, the new owners, they came in, they renamed it the Gold King Mine, and they produced $3 million worth of gold out of there. They later took the money that they had profited down to Colorado Springs to build the Broadmoor Hotel. In April of 1896, the barmaid and her boyfriend had gotten into an argument down there on Myers Avenue, which is that closest street to us, and they knocked over a kerosene lamp. That resulted in a fire that burned down over half of the city. Just a few days later, a grease fire broke out in the kitchen of the Portland Hotel, and it burned down the other half. Now, back then, everything here was made out of wood, including the sidewalks, so those fires were pretty devastating. One of the very few wooden buildings to survive those fires is that one across from us over there with the red and white paint. That is the Colorado Trade and Transfer. And then after those fires happened, a new city ordinance mandated that if any new buildings were to be built on Bennett Avenue, which is that main road over there, or even 1 block away from Bennett, they had to be constructed completely out of brick. And that's why all these brick buildings are here today. Most of those buildings are dated for 1896 and shortly thereafter. Now going back to Myers Avenue, at one point it did run underneath our tracks and it went all the way up into Poverty Gulch. And it was known as the Red Light District. They had over 70 saloons and 35 parlor houses. The most famous of those parlor houses is that white building down there with the red sign that says the Old Homestead. Now, the Old Homestead, it was operated by Madame Pearl de Vere, and she was pretty particular about her clientele. I mean, she wouldn't even let you step foot into the establishment until after she inspected your bank account. Sadly, though, at the age of 30, Pearl de Vere got really sick and she died trying to self-medicate for that cold. And it was at that time that her parents realized that she was not the seamstress she told them she was. And so they disowned her and they refused to pay for her funeral. Well, she had a lot of friends around town and they did have a whole lot of respect for her. So they all came together, they paid for that funeral. They even paid for a 12-piece marching band to play It'll Be a Hot Time in the Old Town Tonight as they marched her all the way up to the cemetery. More than 5,000 people came to be a part of that. A really long time ago, there was a big white creek that ran through here, and it's actually underground now. But this creek, it was very wide, had a really fast water flow, and it was hard to walk across it. But there was a farmer named Levi Welty, and every year, old Levi, he had to get his cattle across this creek. And every year, one or more of his cows would end up breaking a leg crossing that creek. Year after year that happened to him. And then both of his sons broke their legs crossing the same creek. Finally, 1-year-old Levi, he just had enough of it. He took off his hat, threw it way up in the air, and he said, "That sure is one doggone Cripple Creek." And that's how the city got its name. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and pull us forward up into Poverty Gulch. On the way up there, though, on the left-hand side of the engine, the second wooden structure you're going to notice was Bob Womack's old log cabin. And the 2 cars you're going to see, they got stuck during a flash flood back in 1941. And then I'll be backing us back into the station. But before I do that, I would like to thank each and every one of you for riding on the train today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your time up here in Cripple Creek.